Dr. Andrew Allen, Associate Professor of Saxophone at Georgia College and State University, and that was the lyrical audition etude for alto saxophone for the Georgia All-State Concert Band. Now there are a few things to consider in this etude. Throughout most of the etude, you're playing relatively high in your range. And if that's not something you've done a lot of or something you're not very comfortable with, you're probably contending with the fact that the saxophone can be a little stuffy and often quite sharp in those registers. So this is a great time to start exploring the idea of voicing, of manipulating inside your mouth to get the desired results of intonation and timbre. What I wouldn't recommend doing is playing with your jaw. I wouldn't open and close your jaw for intonation or tone purposes. Usually you're just going to get a poor, saggy pitch if you do that. Rather, keep everything the same here and start experimenting with syllables like ooh and ooh, O's and U's to try to get the kind of response that you want. Try the different feelings of different ooh and ooh syllables to try to pull that intonation down and to get that timbre where you want it. There's some videos down in the description part of this video that can provide a little bit more guidance on that as well. Now, these trills and grace note patterns, a lot of people will try to trill all the way to the end of the note and don't leave themselves enough room for the graces. So what I would recommend with each of these, and what you probably just heard me play, trill about halfway through the note, stop on the and, counting the 8th note here, so you're going to trill for a 16th note, stop trilling for a 16th note, leave yourself room to do the grace. Listen to what I'm doing, toy with that a little bit. In measure 6, for that high F, if you're not already familiar with it, a really great fingering for that is the alternate front F. So you use your octave key, your C key with your middle finger, and with your first finger, hit that top bar. Some of you, it may be another pearl, but it's that key right above the B key. You're just going to play those together. It may take a little bit of experimentation to get out, but again, try some of those syllables. Try ah, e, I, all of those vowel syllables and see what works. And if you can get that to come out, well, then maybe we could start talking about altissimo once you're comfortable with that. One other comment on this. In measure 7, you see senza diminuendo. Now you may see diminuendo and think you're supposed to diminuendo, but what does senza mean? Without diminuendo. So keep it all forte until you actually see the piano. That's a subito piano. You're staying forte until you see that piano. Now, listen as I perform the technical etude. This is quite a challenging technical etude. There are several things to consider. First of all, you have several repeated articulation patterns, those 2-note pairs. I would recommend not breaking up the airstream and using a very light do articulation, D-O-O, do articulation. Keep the air flowing throughout, and you're going to get a really nice rebound on each of those. It's going to be quite easy once you get used to it. For any staccatos, still keep the air flowing, but switch to a 2 articulation for just a little bit more separation. But again, don't separate with your airstream, just a nice light 2 articulation with a steady, continuously flowing airstream underneath. If you're not already using them, there are 3 fingerings that are going to be extremely useful for the technique of this piece. There are 2 B flat, or in this case, A sharp fingerings that I would recommend. I would never recommend the 1-in-1 fingering, basically ever. If you're using that, there are better alternatives. The first is the side A sharp B flat. So it's 1-2, just like an A, and then you add the bottom side key with the side of your finger. Of course, I'm lifting it up so it doesn't look great, but with a relaxed hand. That's a side A sharp, side B flat. And the other nice B flat A sharp fingering is the bis B flat or A sharp. So you're going to play the B key with your first finger. You're going to roll down slightly and also hit that little key underneath the B with the same finger. Another alternate fingering that works really well for this etude is the alternate F sharp. So it's just like you're playing a normal F. You're going to reach back with your third finger, and there's a little key back there you're going to hit. It's a lot easier to make work when you're going from an E sharp or an F natural rather than flipping. You'll get better results often by using that alternate F sharp. So where are you going to use these new fingerings? Well, in measure 3, I would recommend using both the side A sharp and the alternate F sharp. In measure 4, I'd use that side A sharp. In measure 5, beat 2, I'd use the alternate F sharp, and in beat 4, I'd go back to the regular middle finger F sharp fingering. Measure 6, in beat 2, I'd use the alternate F sharp the first time, and then throughout, I'd use the regular F sharp after that. Measure 7, I'd use the side A sharp on the downbeat. Measure 8, I'd use the bis A sharp. Measure 14, I'd use the bis A sharp. And measure 15, I'd use the side A sharp. So something else that you need to think about here, this indication at the beginning, allegretto, risoluto. So it's allegretto. It's quick, but not too quick, kind of light, but it's resolute, it's determined. So make sure that you're thinking about these dynamics as being really driving forward without rushing, without being too aggressive. Also, make sure that you're making the most out of the few dynamic differences that you have here. For fortes, I would think about a nice, quick, cold airstream. For pianos, I would think about a nice, quick, warm airstream. And changing from warm to cold when you have that great big crescendo through the back half of the etude. Best of luck in your preparations here. I hope that the results match your hopes, but no matter what, I hope you grow, most importantly, as a saxophonist and a musician through this process. And if you have any questions or you just want to reach out, please feel free at the contact information at the end of this video. Best of luck.